What's up, friends? Welcome back to Tsundoku Reviews. I am Andrew Tsundoku. I'm here to review Jaco the Galactic Patrolman. Now, Jaco is well, I'll get into the plot in a second. I just want to talk about the manga itself. This is written by Akira Toriyama, published by Shonen Jump, or Jump Comics. It's Akira Toriyama, for those who don't know, is the creator of the Dragon Ball universe. And even more than that, because he's done Dr. Slump, he's done Sandland. Those are the only ones that have actually made it across the seas to the US market. So, he's just on my shelf alone, he's got 1.5 entire shelves. The dude's written a ton. I consider him one of the, founding fathers of manga and subsequently anime. Everything that people think is cool now is what or has been inspired by Dragon Ball in some way. Anyway, so Akira Toriyama, awesome dude, very prominent figure in the manga world. And so this is his new manga, Jaco. Now this came out in Japan, I think 1 or 2 years ago. Just barely was released, published in the US. Akira Toriyama wanted to have it finished by the time Battle of Gods came out, which was for the US market last year, for Japan even further back. But the guy was just, he wanted to make it really good, so first of all, he wrote storyboards, which he's never done for anything he's ever written thus far, ever. So all of Dragon Ball, no storyboards. All of Dr. Slump, no storyboards. He would do a manuscript, and then he'd be like, okay, I'm just going to draw it, and he would just draw it to save time, because he's got a lot to do, obviously. Anyway, so he did storyboards for this one, and the dude was sleeping 2 hours a night, so it was killing him, and he lost track of where he was in time and things like that, and it turned out that it took him, I think he said 4 months behind, but nevertheless, it's out, finally. It showed up. I got it a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago. Read it instantly because it's Akira Toriyama and you can't just not read it. Anyway, to what it's about, the story is Jaco, this little alien dude here. He crash lands. He's a galactic patrolman, kind of like the space police. The dude's flying around space. He's actually been informed that there's a terrible alien menace that's going to show up on Earth and terrorize Earth, right? So he goes to Earth, but he crashes, and he crashes on this island, or off the coast of the island, and this old dude inhabits the island, so he sees the spaceship come down. He's like, what the heck is that? I gotta see if he's okay. And it turns out it's Jaco, the Galactic Patrolman. It's a really cute story. It's a cute character. But he just grabs the ship and swims it on the island and picks it up and puts it down, and the guy's amazed because that's not supposed to happen in reality. And Jaco explains he's an intergalactic patrolman. He does the whole Ginyu Force looking stuff. So the ship's broken. The old guy that's on the island is a scientist, and Jaco, he's like, you gotta help me fix my ship. And the old guy's like, okay, I'll try. And he figures out that the ship's actually its power source or something like that is this super expensive rare metal that they can't find, and it's too expensive to buy. And so they're like, what can we do? And they go to town because they need to eat. Jaco only eats cheese and milk, which is kind of funny. So they go to town to buy some supplies, and they bump into this girl, and she's being harassed by these guys, and Jaco beats up the guys. Then the police come because he's beating up guys, and then he beats up the police, and the police freak out because you can't beat up police, and so they start chasing him everywhere, and the girl helps them out. They all end up going back to the island to like hide out, and the entire time there's a girl, like a teen idol type of sort of situation, because in Japan there's idols everywhere. So this teen idol is going to be like launched into space, and this pop icon idol girl, and it turns out that the girl that Jaco rescued from those dudes is going to be like the body double for the teen idol. So if the rocket goes into space and explodes, then the teen idol's still alive and no one freaks out. But the poor girl's dead, but they just won't talk about it. And so she's like, "Hey, I'm actually gonna go to the spacecraft," and they're like, "What? What are you talking about? This is crazy. We don't know anything about it." And the girl has sold like all of her possessions and gotten enough of the metal for Jaco to at least like take off and submit a broadcast out, and he's so excited because the ship finally works, and so Jaco gets in and he flies up and just smashes the crap out of it, and he loses the antenna of the ship, so he can't transmit a message, and it gets to a point where I don't want to spoil anything. It's a one-shot manga. I'm not gonna spoil crap. There's nothing to really say. I mean, you could read it within an hour. But the whole point, I guess, is that Jaco is a part of the Dragon Ball universe. The girl that they meet up with is actually Bulma's older sister. Jaco has been sent to Earth to defend it from Goku. But then it turns out that Goku, like, he's raised by Son Gohan and everything's fine, and turns out how it's supposed to, but I mean, the Galactic Patrolman didn't know that, or whatever. So, it ties into Dragon Ball as like a distant future type Dragon Ball. And then at the very end, it talks about how the girl's named Tights, which is awesome because then you got Tights and Bulma and Trunks and Dr. Briefs. I guess technically in GT you've got Bra. It's stuff like that. It's kind of funny. So Bulma, as you see Bulma as a child, she's actually the one that fixes Jaco's ship. She's like some super smart girl or whatever, and she's like, "You're missing the antenna," and they fix it. And so Jaco's able to transmit the message and leave to go hang out. He comes back with a girlfriend to like visit the old guy on the island and crap like that. It's a feel good story, and it's something that when most people think of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, they don't remember how cute it's supposed to be, or how fun it's supposed to be, or how adventurous it's supposed to be. They think of screaming and yelling and Frieza blowing up a planet and Goku going Super Saiyan 3 to fight Majin Buu, and they don't remember that it was first a really hokey, happy adventure manga. And this is that. If you're looking for action and fighting, there's none of it in here. I mean, Jaco's a buff dude, but he's not a fighter. He's a Galactic Patrolman. He's just gonna do his job and continue on the way. But Toriyama, in the very last little bit, there's like maybe 10 pages, and it's actually Bardock, who's Goku's father, and Bardock's saying he's wondering why all the Saiyans were summoned back to planet Vegeta, and Frieza's in control and stuff like that, and there's a mass summon for all the Saiyans, and Vegeta and Nappa and Raditz are other places, and they're like, to heck with that, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. That's how they survived, is what this is saying. And we've known very little about Bardock, and it actually has Goku's mom. I don't remember her name, but she's in it. They're talking about, oh, our son and this and that. 𝐁𝐫𝐿 is the mother's name. Goku's mother is named 𝐁𝐫𝐿. She kind of looks like a mean Videl. Yeah. But anyway, it is cute. I would give it maybe 7.5 out of 10. Like I'd read it again because it's a part of the Dragon Ball universe, guys. Like that's the coolest part for me is the fact that there's more Dragon Ball stuff. Like I've said before, we've got the movie in less than a week. We're talking days now until the movie comes out in the U.S. We got Jaco. New video games like crazy. Xenoverse is fantastic. I'm glad that something so prominent as Dragon Ball has not been set aside for things that are newer. They're really trying their best. New Dragon Ball series, for the love of crud, like what? I'm amazed. I'm really glad that they're not bringing it back. That they're just bringing it up again. Like they're saying, hey, remember this was just as cool. We're gonna keep on going. So yeah, I would give Jaco 7.5 out of 10. I'm gonna stick with that. 7.5 out of 10. The art in it is really good. It's got a lot of really clean, clear lines. You can really understand what's happening. There's good use of page. There's not giant panels with nothing in them. There's not a lot of motion lines. There's not a lot of filler crap. It's really well drawn. Maybe because the dude used storyboards for the first time in his life. He's also said that this is going to be the last manga that he draws entirely. Like he'll have people doing more to it, and that's understandable. The man's old, and he's. I mean, God bless him for what he's given us, and God bless him for what he does. But most people have other people to do a lot of the work. Like they've got assistants, and they've got other people, and you. How cool that he's made it this far without a lot of help, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I did like it a lot. I like the character Jaco a lot. He's a really fun character. He's a cute character. There's because he beat up the policeman, and so the policemen show up on the TV, and they're like, "We're looking for this man." Jaco's watching the TV on the island, and he's like, "I don't look anything like that." Like they've drawn a sketch. And he's like, that's a terrible picture. Until they meet up with him again, and he threatens them, and he's like, you gotta put this picture in. This is the correct picture. And so they're like, okay, we'll air the correct picture, promise. And then they air some other picture, and it doesn't look anything like it. Like, it looks more like the first version than what he actually looked like. And he's like, what is this crap? Like, Jaco just gets bent out of shape. He's really prideful, and it's funny to see. So there's my review. I've got, coming up still, I'm going to do I guess I'm going to start the library tour series, and I'll introduce you guys to the first shelf. We'll just go through and I'll tell you about each one, what I think of each one, and I mean, feel free to leave comments. I'd love to see if anyone's read Jaco. I'd love to read what you folks thought of it, and if you have any other recommendations, or if you have your own review, go ahead and post comments. I love being able to interact with you folks on here. It's really cool. So we've got that. I've got another kind of introductory video that I'm working on still, and that should be posted within a couple days. But that's all of the immediate stuff that I have planned. But I mean, stay tuned, because I'll always do, truthfully, I'll do whatever the heck I feel like. And no one's ever going to know what that is until it's actually up and people are watching it. So stay tuned. This has been the Jaco Galactic Patrolman review, and I'll talk to you later.